You've been quite consistent, John, in saying this season, more than any other, I think, that you can't afford to get carried away one way or the other by runs of results. You're on another one of those runs of defeats. You've been pretty consistent in the way you've approached it. Practically day to day, how do you park it and put it behind you and get ready for a midweek fixture?
We're only on a run of one defeat. We beat Liverpool last week.
You know what I mean? In the league.
I know exactly what you mean. In the league, yeah. It's pointless dwelling on things. What you have to do is educate yourself. So the players will watch the video, particularly that half an hour when it unravelled, where you felt like King Canute trying to stop the tide. And that's something that the staff can work on as well. You know, we're not infallible. And, you know, possibly we should have tweeted and maybe showed it up, changed our style and maybe let them have the ball a little bit more in their own half and protect what we had. Now, if you look back to last year when we had a man sent off against MK Dons, who at the time were probably the most attacking team in the league, we nullified them. We got a 0-0 with 10 men for a good portion of the game, probably an hour, by playing that way. And possibly we should have adopted that approach. But you're at home, in front of a full house. You feel as though you're half betraying your own fans if you're doing that, to be honest. But we had to find a way to stop the tide, and we didn't, or stem the tide, and we didn't. And you've got to give a little bit of credit to Bolton for that as well. But, you know, we'll look at it again, see what we could have done. Look at the positives that we can take out of the game. There's some of the good patterns of football that we managed to produce. And then the staff, as I said, we'll have to have a look and see what can we do for future reference if this happens again.
You said last week that it'll probably be April before you know where teams are operating in this league. I know the first priority is 50 points and to be in this league next season. Do you look at that table and look over your shoulder at this point and think about the teams below you, or is it purely about the points total at this stage?
It's purely about the points total, but I'd be lying if I said I don't worry about league tables, because I do. I look at them all a while, and you're looking at the teams around you. And rather than look at getting 50 points, let's look at trying to get 3. And small steps get you there. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and hopefully some strengthening in January as well. You know, you can't legislate for having so many forwards out. You just can't legislate for that. It's happened. And whatever team we put out, I know they'll give their all. Sometimes a little bit misguided. And we just need to find a little bit more quality in the final. Well, not so much the final third, in our attacking play. If we can get that, I think we can. It helps you shore up things when you've got the ball. You know, you're not as vulnerable when you've got the ball, or when you keep the ball. And we've got to find a way to do that.
How formidable has this run of fixtures been? I guess starting with a trip to Plymouth, who still are top of the league.
Well, we've conceded 9 goals in the game. We've lost all the games. I don't think we've deserved to lose all the games. Probably the one that we most deserved to lose, I think, was Saturday. I think it's only my opinion, because of how strong they finished the game. But we were well in both the Plymouth and the Derby games, and a bit of naivety defending has cost us in them games, and an inability to put the ball in the net. We found that on Saturday, and you know, it's a big turning point. You know, you've just spoke to Ethan, and I'm sure you'd have said that. You know, he doesn't miss it on purpose, and you know, if you had the time again, you maybe leave it to Sean, and Sean's got a full dive and header on it. Maybe generate a bit more power, but you know, that's football for you. What you can't do is mope around and dwell. You know, we've got a tough game coming up that everyone will have wrote us off. You know, in a lot of people in the football world, we may as well not turn up tomorrow. And there's sometimes the games that we surprise people in. But we've just got to focus on day-to-day recovery from a hard game on Saturday, try and get ourselves in a good shape to go to Peterborough and give a good account of ourselves. And the one thing about, well, you know me over the years, you know Jimmy and John Coleman. And the one thing about us is we're never afraid of anything. You know, we want to bring the games on. The players are the same. So the players are looking forward to the game already and get a little bit of frustration out of the way, but you know, it's a good opportunity to go there and try and give a good account of ourselves.
Things have changed. You've only got to look around us and see the continued pace of work and all that sort of thing, and the number of years you've been in this division. But do you still feel like you get written off? You know, you're going to Peterborough and neutrals will say home win.
Yeah, well, you know, that's part and parcel of being a small club in a big league. And Bournemouth will have the same feeling that we have when they compete in the Premier League. Doesn't mean they can't beat the big teams.
Does it still fire you a little bit? Does it still motivate you a little bit when you see and hear stuff like that?
Well, if it didn't, you wouldn't be speaking to me now. I wouldn't be here. And I think when you lose that hunger, you lose that drive and motivation, you shouldn't be involved in football. Thankfully, I've still got it. I know Jimmy's still got it. I know John Coleman's got it. Jeb Brown and Andy Gray, Andy Dibble. So, you know, all the coaching staff and all have got it. And sometimes it's intriguing when challenges are put in front of you and you've got to solve a puzzle. But like Poirot.
Are you the League One Poirot? Little moustache.
Oh, I had a moustache when I was playing and it was not very good.
Not going to make a comeback?
Not a good look, no.
Euphemistically, you've probably not got too many good memories of going to Peterborough. I think you have won there.
We've won there.
But you've also lost there heavily a couple of times.
Yeah, we've had a 7 and an 8 put past us.
Does that stay, not with the players obviously, because there won't be too many of them that have been there, does it stay with you?
No, there's no bearing on that, so. The one that we lost 8-2 actually was an absolute farcical game because we got it back to 4-2. We were 4-0 down, got it back to 4-2. And then there was a monsoon and there was a lake on the far side and the game should have been called off, but it wasn't, and we ended up getting tubbed, or hockeyed as they say in Ireland. But we bounced back on a Saturday and won 2-0, so.
The value of experience of stuff like that, you know, good and bad, how important is that, particularly when you've got young players in your changing room who might not have been in that situation?
Yeah, I think you know, just the staff that we've got a wealth of experience in all sorts of leagues and that. And if you go, you know, if you look, myself and Jimmy obviously being synonymous with Accrington, but John Coleman has, you know, spent a lot of time in Championship, Premiership coaching, you know, Scottish Premiership as assistant manager. So he brings a different facet as well. But the thing is about, you try and educate players, you try and give them guidance into what they should be thinking on the pitch and how to get the best out of them. But ultimately, when they cross the white line, it's down to them and your fate's in their hands. And listen, they don't make mistakes on purpose, and nobody don't. But when you look at the goals that we conceded on Saturday, a couple of them are avoidable. You know, Toby's made a couple of unbelievable saves, and then he'll be disappointed with the one that's gone in, the third goal. Harvey started the season like an absolute monster in defence, and he'll be disappointed that he couldn't do better to keep the first goal out, which was ultimately the one that broke the seal, really. So they don't do it on purpose. You know, they give it all, and I've said about luck, and sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, and it's deserted us at the moment, but it can come back as quick as it goes.
Anything to report personnel-wise?
1 or 2 niggles. We've got 1 or 2 that we'll have to maybe give till the morning to see if they're going to be right for tomorrow night.